Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
Good morning, everyone. Something feels a little different today. I don't know. I wonder what it could possibly be. I wonder what maybe could have happened that things would seem a little different. I don't know. Nothing important, I'm sure. There's no way that something actually like monumental could have possibly happened in the last 24 hours that we would want to talk about here today. Right? I hope that you guys are ready for a different kind of show. All right? Admittedly, today we will talk about our normal topics. In fact, I have an update on the PS5 Pro, okay? And a couple other things. But let's be very honest here. Today we have one major topic, the results of the elections last night, and most notably the U.S. presidential election, the results of which are going to change a lot of stuff. And today, I'm going to talk about a topic that we've talked about on and off for years. I think it's finally time. Stick around, because today, the major topic of discussion right here is hashtag DS Politics. I will see you in a sec for a very interesting episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of November, 2024. For some, today is literally the worst case scenario, absolute, over the top, destroyed, cooked, we're all over, apocalyptic day, the worst day ever. But for others, today is a day of grand celebration. There's dancing in the streets, rejoicing. Champagne bottles are being popped. People are backflipping in delight, right? It's amazing how people have completely polarized, particularly here in the United States, because last night, Donald Trump retook the United States presidency. This has been the most unlikely whirlwind 8 years. Like, first of all, to be honest, I never thought Donald Trump would have got elected to begin with 8 years ago. But then again, they did put him against Hillary Clinton. And I think a rock would have beaten Hillary Clinton. So, I mean, it wasn't that hard of a task. And then, 4 years ago, with what was going on with COVID at the time, and everything was in a weird place. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of a weird thing that happened, that Trump lost to Biden. But now here we are. And Trump is back. And, man, the reaction is insane. And by the way, it's not only that Trump is back. It's that the entire U.S. government just got overtaken by the Republican Party. The Senate, the House of Representatives, and the presidency, and honestly, the Supreme Court are all now going to be controlled by a majority of Republican lawmakers and politicians. And that is crazy. Last time Trump was in office, it was the opposite, where he was the president, but all the other branches were kind of against him. So it was very hard to make stuff work. So holy crap, right? Holy crap. It's just nuts. And we're going to talk about this today a bit, but notably, rather than talk about the political aspect of it and giving you my opinions on it, instead, I'm going to approach this from a different angle. All right? Because as you know, I'm not a political content creator yet. And this is something that we have discussed for many, many years, that the possibility, when I'm tongue-tied, the possibility that as I get older, these are going to be topics that people are going to want to hear me discuss, because it's not just about fun and games anymore. It's about life. It's about politics and family and all kinds of stuff going on. And it's very different than it used to be, right? So, especially now, in the last few months, how dramatically my life has changed. If you guys really don't understand, I went from being the absolute whipping boy of the internet every word out of my mouth was ignored or treated like a joke. I was derided. I was slandered. I was defamed. I was treated like human dirt. And it was like that for the greater part of 10 years. But things have changed. Things have flipped in the last 3 months, August, September, and October. There's people who actually care, people who listen, people who previously would have just stood there and said, ha, who cares? And now they're like, wait, what did Phil say? Oh, interesting. So with that being said, and of course also with me now streaming on Kick, because right now I have a co-audience. We got people watching me on YouTube right now, but we also have an audience on Kick, and the audiences are a little different. You know, on Kick, a lot more people are tuned in for things like politics. While on YouTube, you got to kind of be a little careful about what you say. You know, you can't go too crazy. So, man, I mean, what a whirlwind. Who would have predicted? Look, I mean, this is just insane. We got to really put this into perspective right now. Are you ready for this, everyone? Who would have predicted that in the second half of 2024, I would essentially contact people who had been making fun of me, make an appearance on their show, win them over, end up becoming more of a, how can I say? Like, people are saying it's a redemption arc, but I really feel it's more like the wool that's been pulled over everyone's eyes for the last 5 to 10 years has been removed. And now that people are giving me a chance, they're realizing, holy crap, Phil's not the worst person on the planet. In fact, he's kind of entertaining. Sometimes he has interesting takes. We want to hear him. We want to see his content. We're interested. We're engaged. He's not really the joke that everyone made him out to be. This is a good thing that now we're giving him a chance, right? And then on top of that, right? Then doing crossover events, doing collabs, both, you know, gameplay and talk show style appearances and things like that. Me branching out, making different styles of content, improving my setup with, holy crap, how many years does my setup look like dog shit? But now I'm actually putting good effort into it and getting stuff back for it, all right? It's not just, oh, Phil's trying. It's Phil's trying, but the audience is absolutely reciprocating, right? You guys have absolutely rewarded me with engagement and attention and support, and I really appreciate that. So if ever you would have wow, this would happen. And now an election happens where everything has completely changed and flipped, and I've been saying this for years. In life, in humanity and culture, there is a pendulum, and that pendulum swings back and forth to the two different extremes, just like this. And for a while, we were all the way over here, and then we were kind of in the middle, and then it came all the way back. And last night, that pendulum firmly, strongly, 100% swung back and hit hard. And now that that pendulum is swung, I feel like maybe it's time to continue with the changes, the improvements, with me branching out and doing different stuff. I think it may actually be time for us to take a look at hashtag DS Politics. And the truth is, I don't know if there could have been a better time, because not only do we have this big election that just happened, and there's going to be endless amounts of topics to talk about, but in addition to that, Jasper Kitty. Just kidding. But I wanted to give him some attention because he's crawling all over me. But in addition to that, if you're not aware, I'm retiring my 2-year running Clips React show. I feel like the show has run its course. And all that time and effort that I put into doing that show was kind of wasted at this point when I'm barely getting anyone on the streams and we have like only 20 people submitting clips. It's time to move on. Well, guess what? Seems like there's something interesting to refocus my efforts into. Well then, right? I mean, very interesting. So anyway, guys, today we are going to talk about this as a topic. Guess what? Let's start at the beginning. Folks, 53 straight streams, hitting the goals, crushing the trolls. You have no clue the meltdown my trolls are in right now. You have no fucking concept. They have lost their minds, all right? They are so starving for content because I'm not giving them any. They actually went into the Washington State voter database to see if I'm a registered voter in the state of Washington. Now, what they don't know is that I actually live in the state of Idaho. And I've been lying to all of you for a decade and fooled them. I'm just kidding. That's it's not true. Okay. The funny part about this is, who cares where I'm registered, if I'm registered, if I vote, if I don't vote? That's my choice. It's totally up to me. As an American citizen, I have the right to determine what I do. No one has the right to dictate to me that I vote, that I don't vote, that I do this, that I do that. That's the beauty of being an American citizen, is that it's called independence. But detractors don't know that. They actually think that because, you know, I might say something political or talk about politics, that I need to be a registered voter and be voting in every single election on every single topic, and it's absolutely positively required of me. They are insane. All right. Now, I actually talked about this last night in my appearance on Kino Casino very briefly. But in a nutshell, I live in Washington State. In Washington State, okay? This state is very, very, almost 100% Democratic or blue leaning, meaning it always leans to the left on political topics. So what that means is whenever there's an election, whenever there's a topic, the voting always goes that way. In fact, I think that for the presidential election, I think it's like 58% or 60% went for Kamala here, and like 30-something% went for Trump. So that gives you a perspective. So if I'm going to vote, all right, I'm going to vote on a topic or a situation where I feel like it's important. Like, wow, my vote matters. My vote counts. It could actually have an impact. Sadly, my vote doesn't really have an impact. Even if I were voting left or right, this state always votes blue. So for me to vote is like, you know, I might as well be peeing into the wind. You know, but that's the thing. Like, it doesn't really matter. If I lived in a swing state, holy crap, would I vote? No lie. I mean, then I feel like my vote has some kind of power, and that I'd actually have some kind of say in things that are important. But sadly, the way that the United States government works is not set up that way. It's just not. So if I'm not in a swing state where you don't know who they're going to vote for the president or whatever, why would I vote, right? Ineffective. And it sucks. I mean, maybe that's a problem with the voting system that needs to be reformed, that there should be overall popular vote rather than going by this, you know, electoral college. I'm sure this will be one of 7,000 things that I will investigate and talk about if I do politics, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's what they've been talking about. I'm not even kidding you. Like, they are so upset with the fact that I am at 53 straight streams hitting my goals. They are so upset with the fact that no one hates me besides them. There's no more a consensus on the internet that DSP is a laughing stock, a joke, an embarrassment. It's either ignore him because he's not that important, which, you know what? I'm of that opinion. If you don't think that anything that I have to say has any merit, then just don't check me out. Leave me alone. What's wrong with that? I agree with that. You know, you don't purposefully stalk and harass and try to ruin the life of someone who you're not interested in. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Or people are starting to actually like my input on these kind of things. I mean, just look in the past few weeks, some of the things I've talked about. I talked about the Twitch CEO and how he is one of the worst leaders in tech right now. He's a guy who thinks he's in his 20s, but he's fucking in his like 50s or 60s. He's an old man. He's done nothing for Twitch whatsoever. He's putting out public posts that are outright lying about Twitch's enforcement policy for, protecting people from hate speech and stuff like that. It's absolutely ludicrous. I tore him a new asshole, and people are talking about it. It's not just, oh, Phil just said that. No, people are actually watching the clip and talking about it on their shows and stuff, which is pretty crazy. I'm now, addressing things like Dragon Age Veilguard and how incredibly poorly it has addressed the topic of wokeness and inclusivity and things like that. And people like that take, right? So now I'm able to talk about these topics, right? And I'm very happy that you guys are along for this cool ride, and the flip has happened. I mean, just like the flip of the pendulum swinging back and forth, right? The pendulum swings. The pendulum has swung. And now, for the first time in a decade, people care about Darksydephil again in a positive way. Fucking sweet. Hell yeah, I'm here for it. I'm not just some schlub who's going to sit back and be like, ah, fuck it, I don't care. No, I do care. I want to be here for you guys and hang out with you and have fun streams and have discussion about various topics. And it's not just gaming, but other things too. I'm down for that. I've been ready for that, but the internet wasn't. Well, now the internet is, okay? So thank you so much for that. And let's laugh together at how hilarious my detractors are completely breaking down and freaking out. Right now, there's morons saying, oh, you see, but 4 years ago, Phil said this about Trump. And Phil said this about this, and let's see him flip-flop and change his opinions. What the fuck? You are nuts. No, really, you're obsessed, you're nuts, you're fucked in the head, you're a bunch of fucking no-life losers, limp dick bitches. You're trying to stalk down words that I said and you're going to take anything out of context or anything to try to get a gotcha moment. Fuck off. Because now, things are different. Now, you are irrelevant. Get it? Bitches? Times have changed. This year has been an insane year of change. And the changes are going to keep coming. And everything's coming up DSP, whether you like it or fucking not. Eat it, choke on it, deal with it. Or you can cry. You know, all those fucking awesome clips they did when Trump won last time. Well, guess what? It's happening again. All over again. Only this time, I'm here for it. All right. So before we start, I need to do some shout outs because a bunch of contributions have come in. I seem younger. Someone in chat says, DSP seems younger somehow. It's not that I'm younger. It's that I'm invigorated. I'm rejuvenated. I have energy. I have spunk because I care. Because now people care about me, so I care back. Do you get it? For a decade when people hated me, it's kind of hard for me to care. But now that people actually want to hear my opinions and like what I'm doing, why wouldn't? Of course I care. Of course I'm in a good mood. Of course I'm happy that every day we can come back and do fun shit together, right? Now, just to be very, very clear, because I'm going to do shout outs, this is not going to be the end all be all of my content. I'm very interested in perhaps starting up new content, but it's not going to permeate all my content. It's not going to be something that's going to ruin my other content. There's going to be separation. There's going to be, I'm going to explain it all. We're going to talk about it on the show. Today is our first discussion about possibly political content. Let's do it, right? So the Red King says the following. The majority know that you're not the worst person on the planet, including your detractors. Your lack of filtered speech makes you an easy target sometimes. Well, here's the thing. I've never been a pussy, right? I've never pussyfoot around topics. I never censor myself, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Here's something I haven't talked about yet. So earlier this year, as you guys know, I was in talks with a guy named Mike Klum to do a documentary about me. Now, this was before my resurgence, before the last few amazing, crazy months of all public opinion flipping. It was different, okay? Now, when I was talking with Mike Klum, I'm talking to him and I'm like, Mike, I want your honest take on this, your honest opinion. Why do you think so many people have this fascination with me? Why do you think that people still talk about DSP? I don't get it. Like, I think I'm just some rinky-dink nobody who just wants to play games or whatever. And he said to me, it's that unfiltered style that you have. Like, it's hard to explain. But hear me go on like a big rant or to really get into a topic and to get animated about it and to hear emotion come out, he basically says it's like enthralling, like it hooks you and you want to hear me keep talking about said topic or whatever. And yeah, basically that's it. Like now the thing is, sadly, so many people on the internet know me as a joke that it's fascinating to see me actually talk seriously or get excited about a topic, but then everyone just kind of blows it off and makes it into a joke. But now it's a little different. Like I said, like people actually are listening to my opinions and caring about them. And that's a good thing, right? It's not, oh, Phil's just a piece of shit anymore. So thank you for that. But I have never been someone to censor myself. I've never been someone to filter myself. Why do you think, as I've told you guys, I've never played the game. I never took on a major sponsorship, a partnership. I never got games early by kissing ass or sucking balls or whatever you want to say, stroking, fluffing, which is what a lot of content creators do. They're literal career fluffers. I've never done that. In fact, I call people out for doing it because I think it's disgraceful that they would literally put out fake paid for content in order to receive their paychecks instead of earning their fucking paychecks, right? So that's what I mean. Like, I've talked about this for over 10 years. That's why I never had protection from anyone. I never had a big collab. I never had a team up. I never had, oh, he's part of a super group. Even when I was with Machinima, they didn't care about me because they knew that I was Mr. Outspoken. I didn't play the game. Why do you think you had guys like the Rad Brad who fucking blew up on YouTube and got every opportunity and I got none? Because I didn't play the game. Guys like him, they fucking did every possible thing and I didn't. I refused. But because I stayed true to who I was, yeah, I basically became phased out and became kind of an internet nobody and the whipping boy of the internet, while guys like him got pushed and promoted and fucking, everything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very different. I'm cut from a different cloth, that's for fucking sure. And man, have I paid for it in my life many different times. Things that have happened. I've told you about things that happened at various jobs and stuff that I had. And, that's just me. That's just my attitude. That's just who I am, my personality. And I think that's going to come through if I do political content. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to hear that people now care about what I have to say, despite the fact that it's unfiltered and not PG or PC or, what the butt kissers, the ball suckers, and the fluffers would do. Okay. Alien Boy did confirm through a $2 super chat. They said, it was spread. I meant to say spread positivity. I'm sorry. No problem there. I think we figured it out, Alien Boy. Mr. Lolanator did a $5 super chat and says, are you actually interested in politics in your free time? Don't address trolls. They are almost all mentally handicapped. RTU has a diabetes arc incoming. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Do you understand that, like, the people who, for the most part, the people who have been the worst to me are now having it all come back on them. I don't know if it's karma. I don't know if it's they call the chickens are coming home to roost, whatever you want to say. But these people who have been the absolute worst to me, finally all this shit is flipping on its head. And they are getting destroyed left, right, up, down, in every fucking direction. And the best part about it is I don't even have to lift a finger. Right? But the other thing is, I don't need to beat the dead horse. I just don't. Like, why do I need to sit here and talk about these loons all day? I don't. So, every once in a while it's funny. Oh, let's check in on this fucking clown, right? And then we'll open it up and we'll take a look and we'll say, ha 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 ha, point and laugh at the clown. And say, all right, the clown show's old. Get them back into their tiny car, deflate their fucking animal balloons, and get them out of here. Maybe next month we'll check them out again, right? We don't have to do this shit every day. It's a waste of time. All right, let's continue. I received a $2 tip. The voting system should change. As I vote independent, usually they never win. Wonderful. It will ever happen. Thoughts. So, I mean, that is a very interesting topic, and it's one of the things we can discuss if I do politics, is the American voting system. I say American, I should say United States, because American, insinuates more than just, the United States. But it is kind of a broken system. If you don't want to vote for a Democrat or a Republican, like, for example, right now, this voting system that we had for this presidential election of Trump versus Harris, if you don't think either candidate is good, literally you have no voice in this country. You either vote for one or the other, or you're just ignored. It was funny because I was on the show, the Kino Casino show last night, and they were clicking around various states to see what the results. And I clicked on one, and it said Jill Stein was in the running for president. And I looked and I said, wait, what? Jill Stein of the Green Party is still running for president? She's been running for president for like a decade or longer, like 3 or 4 election cycles. I'm looking, I'm like, it's like 0.005% voted for Jill Stein. And I'm like, wow. But that's what I mean. Like, what if you don't like Trump or Harris? What do? I guess you fuck off. because that's how our system's set up. Like, you have no chance to be heard unless you're voting for one of the two major parties. And it's sad, I think, because we should have a system where someone who is not Democrat or Republican should actually have a chance. And they don't. That's how our system's set up. But that's a topic for, again, we're not talking detailed politics today. It's something that we can definitely tackle in the future. Okay? We're definitely not going to do it on this channel. Like I said, this will be something for a political discussion elsewhere, which we're going to talk about in a moment.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.